Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a bloody good day to you there, sir. My name is Mansource. Thanks for joining me for some AOE4. Today I've got a really good game for you against the hardest AI. I recently did a video of like a tutorial on how to beat the hard AI. Which did pretty well, kind of feedback from you guys and views and stuff. It went pretty well. So I thought I'd do another video with the English for the hardest AI, and I've never attempted to do the hardest AI before, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've been practicing a lot with the English recently, in 1v1 games online and just 2-on-2s with my friends and stuff like that. So I feel like I know the English pretty well now and how to play them. So here we are. Let's just run straight into it. There's no live commentary for this one, so I'm just going to kind of talk through what I'm doing and kind of reiterate the build order. And I've kind of refined it slightly since the last video, so this can sort of be a bit of an update. Now that we've had a couple of patches since the launch of the game, now that Springalds aren't the meta anymore, mangonels are where it's at. For me, anyway, I am constantly, when I'm in 1v1s and stuff, as soon as I get to Castle Age, I am making mangonels, and I cannot tell you how important they are when you're doing 1v1s. And I think a lot of people do forget to make them, or just don't make them, whether they don't like them or think that they're just not that good. They are. When you're versing the English, you need to be making mangonels. I cannot tell you how many times I've versed the English, and they have mass made longbows, and mangonels rip through them so easily, I tell you. So that's where I'm at with kind of Siege at the moment. If it's a really late game, like if people are getting to Imperial and stuff, then obviously you have to make the bombards to even stand a chance of winning. But I don't think we even get to that in this game, in all honesty. It's more, I don't think do I even get up to Castle? I can't even remember. I think I get to Castle, but not Imperial. So straight away, so start of the game, everyone on food, one person building a house, queue up as many people as you can to gold, and then you should have 2 or 3 on gold, probably 3, and then you want to, whilst you're clicking up to the first age, as you're seeing now, you want at least 2 or 3 people on wood. So as you can see right now, I've got 8 on food, 2 on wood, and 3 on gold. When you're the English, you need people on wood whilst you're clicking up. So whilst that landmark is being built, the council hall, whilst that's being built, you need people on wood, because you need to get the longbows out as soon as possible. Because the hardest AI, it does not mess around. They will push you as soon as they can. Right, so you need to get longbows out ASAP. So I always have 2 or 3 people on wood just whilst that council hall is being built. Obviously, you want your scout just still going out, getting the sheep, seeing where the enemy's at. That's not changed. That's still the same. You should always be doing that. So 7 villagers we got currently doing the sheep. Which is, it's pretty normal. I've got the 8th person there, but so we got, I think it's 5 people doing the council hall, and yeah, so we're just using the scout. We're just going around, seeing where the enemy's at, seeing if they're clicking up yet, see, how far off feudal age they are. So I left the scores up on the right hand side of the screen. They're currently ahead on score, but to be honest, the score is a funny thing. It doesn't necessarily mean the other person is winning, and I think a lot of people, when they've got the scores up, they focus too hard on what the scores are saying. Because right now I'm obviously 829, they're 600. They've just clicked up to 600. It should give you a rough idea of how advanced the other enemy is. It's not an indication of if the other person is winning or is going to beat you. I think a lot of people do worry about that, and I don't think they should. It should just be a rough guide to how far behind you are. So if you're AFK at the beginning of the match and then they're steaming ahead, you can see how far behind you are because of the score. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose, you know, because some people, they're very quick to get up to feudal age, and then they're not very good at the micromanaging, and they're not building second town centres, they're not building keeps and stuff. So it's very important not to get too obsessed with the score. In my opinion, from the amount of games that I've played recently and 1v1s I've done, don't get too caught up on it is all I'm saying. And I think the developers are absolutely right not to put the scores in kind of ranked games and stuff when they do eventually drop it. I think that's a really, really good move. If you're spectating, you should be able to see the score, absolutely, but I think the players, I don't think they should be able to see it. And that's going to cause a lot of controversy, me saying that, but I stand by it, and I think that's the right decision. So fair play to them for doing that. Right, so as it stands, we're now in feudal age. We've got the longbows being made. We are constantly making villages. So that's very, very, very important to keep making the villages. You always want to try and have as many queued up as you can, because you'll eventually need more and more resources. So we're actually going to start to go for stone. I've started kind of integrating this into my games now. I've been doing this a lot more. Is get at least 2 or 3 on stone once you get into feudal age, and it actually works really, really well. So when you're pushing, I mentioned this in my last video when I played the English, and when you're pushing to build outposts as you go, as you're pushing around the enemy's base, I have started making outposts. And when you do attack, obviously they're going to send people out to try and get rid of your longbows. And if you've got the outpost there, they're going to only push you back so far, because obviously they don't want to lose their unit to the outposts. So that does give you some protection from the enemy units. And then if all does go to shit, you can garrison the longbows inside the outposts. So if you have multiple, and you say you've got 10 longbows just raiding, you could do 5 in one outpost and then 5 in the other, for example, and they'll be safe for a while. And the outpost will fire off more arrows, so then that will just hopefully push back the enemy units more so. So we're just going to go around. We're going to just... unfortunately, we didn't see any villagers because the enemy actually withdrew the villagers because we were obviously pushing. So they've just sent out some enemy units and just defeated them as they come. We've actually got a decent number to push here with, so we're just going to try and go around and find some villagers, hopefully. The more we can stop their resources, the better. We want to slow them down as much as possible. And whilst you're going around raiding, trying to take out enemy villagers, you want to try and keep the longbows. You want to keep them coming up. So if you set the waypoint for the council hall up towards the enemy base, you can just queue the longbows up, and when they spawn in, they will just obviously start walking up to the waypoint where you set it. So as you can see, I can just queue them up, and they'll just automatically walk up and join the others. You have to remember, if they do start pushing, that the waypoint isn't going to change. So if you put it near the enemy base and then your longbows get pushed halfway back, for example, those longbows are still going to walk towards the enemy base and wherever it is. So just remember to keep an eye on that. I've been caught out a couple of times where I just forget to move the waypoint, and my longbows are walking into enemies, basically. So not the best move, but it is what it is. Also, at this point, whilst you're making longbows, you want to try and have as many villagers queued up. I'm just going to keep saying that until people start doing it, because it's very, very important. Another tip also is to go with to build a barracks quite early on, and this is because the longbows aren't. I mean, they're very, very good at raiding, and certainly earlier on they're very good. You want to try and upgrade the arrows as much as you can, as quickly as you can. So the barracks will allow you to upgrade the archer units and make them more powerful. So you want to get that +1 damage as soon as you can. So the barracks is very helpful. Also, the upgrade for the military units building siege, so the rams, that is an absolute game changer. Like that is so good, especially when you're trying to raid and you haven't got to castle yet. Sometimes you don't even need to go to castle if you've got rams. If you can make the rams very early on, it can change the game. So you can see here that we found some villagers just chopping their wood as they do. We're just going to take out as many as we can. They do try and push, but obviously villagers are not going to do much. So that's more for the taking. And look, the trail of bodies is just there. The evidence is there. So we're just going to go around with the longbows and just see what's about. Horses are very, very good against longbows, especially these heavy knights. They are very good. They do close down the longbows very quickly. They don't take much damage from the longbows, so you do need a decent number of longbows to counter those knights. So again, we're just going to go around, take down their scouts. I think they're probably professional scouts, as they're RUS, so the RUS will go with professional scouts and go for the deers around the map. Obviously, those knights are retreating. Completely forgot about I forgot about that scout up there with the sheep. Too preoccupied with just raiding, basically. So try not to do that. Try not to forget about the free food just sat there. So we're going to move those villagers from those berry bushes to the other berry bushes. Because I'm not being pushed, it's safe to go for those berry bushes. And at this point, we're going to go for another town centre, because we'll just get a bit of a boom on and get twice as many villagers out. And yeah, it's just going to support our push even more. Also, what I will say is, when I'm going for those next berry bushes, I put an outpost up just to give my villagers some protection. I think that's very important, especially when they're not near the town centre like they were before. Very, very important, I think, to at least put an outpost there, so you can see see the enemy coming a bit further away. It's just helpful. It just gives you an edge. So these longbows are about to get taken out. I should have pushed all together really with these other ones, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter too much. We're just causing the RUS havoc here. Just going to keep the pressure up. The moment we take the pressure off, they're just going to push, because they're making quite a few cavalry. So see, look, they've just got 4 of a heavy cavalry there, and if they were to push down to the villagers, then well, it's not going to be a good time for the villagers. So we'll try and avoid that if we can. Okay, so now we got this second town centre up. What we'll do is we'll queue some villagers to just hop on that gold there, and then that way we can at least try and double the gold production. That will just help us in the later game if it gets to it when we start building siege, because they do require gold. Also, if it gets to that point, men at arms as well. Now, longbows and men at arms are an extremely powerful combination. They're a bit slow, but they are so powerful as a combination together. So for now, we're just going to keep with the longbows and make some spearmen, because the spearmen do an amazing job of defeating cavalry, because the cavalry's weakness are spearmen. So you always have to remember to try and play to the weaknesses and the advantages of what the enemy are. So French and RUS are a very cavalry heavy based civilization, so take advantage of that. Make spearmen. You could probably win the game. Well, I don't know, that's probably a bit far. I was going to say you could probably win the game just by making spearmen, but that's probably a ballsy move. Maybe don't try that. So we're going to keep up with the production of stone. Get some. We now have more people on, more villagers on gold. The income for wood is very good. Just looking at it there now. We could probably do with some more on food, to be honest, because later game we do need to build more with food. So at this stage we're ready to click up to Castle Age, so we'll get that done now. So at this point, if you have followed kind of roughly followed these steps, you've got 2 town centres and your economy is growing. It's becoming quite strong and consistent, which is the main thing. Now, you could opt for the 3rd town centre if you really wanted to have a really, a really strong economy and a very big villager boom. Because ultimately, if you have a big villager boom, that is going to convert into a big military boom eventually. Once you get the resources up high enough, that's going to benefit your military production massively. Okay, so at this stage we've gone for the keep because we've got 2 town centres. At this stage I don't feel it's necessary to go with the 3rd town centre. If the opponent had been more aggressive throughout this game, I probably, if they had been pushed a lot more, I would have gone with the town centre just to try and up the production of military, so I can push back. If you understand what I'm saying. So because they're not really pushing and we've got them cornered, so to speak, we're going to be a bit ballsy. We're going to go balls deep and place the defensive building. I think it's called the White Palace. I think we're gonna place that right outside their base, because why not? We need that support for the later game, so let's just do it. Let's put that there and watch them struggle. So at this stage they're making the absolute right move here by attacking, by just pushing with their horsemen. Obviously they didn't want us to build that because that's bad for them. That's a really that defensive building is amazing. It's so powerful. So that would be bad news for them if we do get that up. That's probably why they threw everything at it. But obviously because we got the spearmen, we got the longbows, no chance. So we pushed them back. If it had been Imperial if they had been Imperial, for example, and they had bombards and stuff like that, then I wouldn't even think about trying to push them, trying to do this basically, because they would have put bombards on it, and yeah, it would have been good night. So yeah, so we're going to keep up with the production, more spearmen, because they're pushing out more horses. So we need more spearmen to counter that. So you can see towards the west of the map, they're now excuse me, they're now putting down archery ranges, which again is probably the right move if they start to get out crossbows and stuff like that. That's again the absolute right move. But we really want to get this this castle up now. That's probably the most important thing about this push at the moment, is getting that up. Because as soon as we get this up, we can start making powerful siege. It's going to give us the advantage with pushing and keeping up the pressure. As soon as you bring siege into it and start destroying their buildings, that's when they start to panic, start to crumble. You want to attack with that as early on, as soon as possible. So as you can see, we're starting to get reinforcements now with the spearmen that we queued up. They're starting to appear at the top of the map where we're pushing. Also, this was a good move from them, pushing with more horsemen. They do get rid of 2 of my villagers, so we are left with 2 now. This is alright, because if you notice at the top, you got the timeline of how soon the landmark is to being built. So we're really close. So we'll just leave the 2 on it for now. We'll keep defending them, and that will go up in the next few seconds. So we're looking pretty good. Just keep repeating this. Just keep up the pressure. Just keep defending. Keep attacking. Queue the villagers in there. Let's get rid of that outpost that they've got there. We'll get all the upgrades for the landmark, so they fire those big arrows and also the bombards, which are pretty strong. We'll upgrade the longbows. You always want to be doing that as soon as you can, so every time you click up you do get upgrades for the longbows, so you go to veteran and then elite, I think it is. So yeah, that makes a huge difference as well. You just want to keep all of this up. A lot of people will say, yeah, obviously you want to keep doing that, but to a lot of people who are just beginning Age of Empires, I mean, it's quite. If I came from first-person shooters, like Battlefield and stuff like that, and it's very difficult to go from those kind of games to these strategy games where you have to think of everything, whereas Battlefield, you point and shoot. Obviously you got some strategy involved, but compared to this, it's night and day. It's completely different. So don't listen to what other people say. You do you play at your own pace, and just you do what you can as long as you're having fun. That's the absolute main thing with this game. I play with friends. I play with just random people online. 1v1s are probably my favourite thing to do. I love doing 1 versus 1s because the learning curve on it is amazing. I've just by doing 1 versus 1s, I've improved so much, and it's great. The other day I came up against a level 68 or something crazy like that, and I'm only level 30 something, and I wiped the floor with him. So and that's such a good feeling when that victory sign comes up at the end. It's awesome. It's so good. And if you want to improve as well, I would suggest, it depends how much of a beginner you are. If you're just playing the game for the first time, stick with the AI. Do easy, then intermediate, and just work your way up. If you're starting to beat the hard AI, or even intermediate, start doing 1 versus 1s online. Just because you don't know what you're expecting. With this, I can set whatever civilization I want, because they haven't got the random feature at the moment for when you're setting up games for AI. I really wish they would bring that in. Hopefully they will in the next couple of patches. But so I set the RUS, and I only set them because they're really popular at the moment, and if I can beat the hardest RUS against the hardest AI RUS, then I'm happy with that, and it's just practice at the end of the day. So Here we are. So that thing I was talking about from the blacksmith earlier on, making the your military be able to produce rams. This is it basically. So I made 3 rams. I think they're 300 wood a pop. So I just made 3 of them, and they just mow down their buildings. With this castle as well, you can make siege, so that's great. So I think I made a mangonel with it, which is awesome for military units, especially so stuff like archers and stuff. You want to be using the mangonels against those. They're really good. So at this stage, I mean, we haven't got too much of a military. We've, it's not a massive number, but we're just going to keep pushing because we're in a really good spot. We've got the siege. We've got a decent amount of longbows. We've got some spearmen. We've got men at arms coming. So we're just going to keep the pressure up. Go for the landmarks that they've got. Move the longbows in, the mangonel in. That landmark is also doing a really good job of just taking out just other buildings. So like that lumber camp, it's just going to get rid of it. So then at least they can't deposit any wood. Or get rid of those villagers that fell out of the town centre. And we're just going to hunt for the rest of their landmarks basically. So if you see at the top left, destroy all enemy landmarks, 2 out of 3. So we've just got to find 1 more. And then that's GG's. So we don't actually need a massive army here, because we're just cherry picking the buildings we want to destroy, and we're in a really good position and situation to do that. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going for it, keep attacking. Now all the landmarks, once they are destroyed, they can be rebuilt. So for example, we've just destroyed their town centre. If we were to walk away from that, they could rebuild it, and that wouldn't count towards us destroying their landmarks because they rebuilt it. So we'll keep up the pressure. We'll obviously keep attacking the any military units they throw at us. To be honest, we could have probably done with more spearmen and men at arms at this stage, because the longbows aren't too great against buildings. Okay, that wasn't a landmark. I thought it was, but it's not. So we're gonna have to find more basics. We're gonna have to find the last one, which I think is towards the north of their map, if my memory serves me. So we'll get these rams and just move everything up to the north, get that last building, and then it's GG's really. As soon as you get that last building, it's automatically over. So obviously they keep trying to rebuild that, as you would, but no chance. So we're ready to click up to Imperial Age, but there's no point. We don't need to. We're just going to keep up with the raid basically. Yeah, they really keep trying to rebuild the town centre. Really trying to clutch at it, but no chance. Those pesky wolves attacking the miners again. To be honest, I think when I was playing this, I didn't even know what the last landmark building was. I think I was just trying to destroy all the buildings. I think it's outside this little base here. I couldn't actually remember. I can't actually remember. So yeah, here we're just mopping up. This isn't really that interesting, to be honest. Obviously that wasn't their landmark. Yeah, I think it's out there. So yeah, I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. I did film this way before Christmas, and I did start to do all the commentary for it and stuff, but I just got distracted with Christmas basically and New Year and stuff like that, so I never had a chance to get this video out, so apologies it's taken so long. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year. And I hope you managed to get a lot of Age of Empires in on the holidays. I did get quite a bit in, so well happy about that. So here we are now. We're just going to destroy this last landmark. It's going to go down pretty quick with the rams and the mangonels, and then that's GG's. So I really do hope this has been helpful. I'm going to keep up with these, against hard and hardest AI and stuff. But I'll do it for different civilizations. So hopefully you guys can see for different civs and how I do differently. I think I'm going to do the Mongols next because they're slightly different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.